All right, guys. Before we get started, are there questions over the homework? Yes, ma'am. On 1-6, flip it over. Let's see here. One more page. 3 through 8, 11, 12.
You didn't tell me that. You said, well, I asked you for some reason. You never mentioned a stop.
11 and 12. Bless you. 13 through 19 odd. 19, let's just make sure. Yeah, 13 through 19 odd. All right, guys, everybody got a note sheet? Everybody have a note sheet?
I don't have a note sheet. I don't read a sheet.
What we're starting with today is adding and subtracting matrices. So we can add and subtract two matrices. All right, guys, focus in here. Focus in. So adding and subtracting matrices. You can add and subtract two matrices if the dimensions are the same. So if the dimensions of the two matrices are the same, we add and subtract corresponding elements. If the dimensions are different, it is undefined. If the matrices dimensions are different, it is undefined. We can only add or subtract if the dimensions are the same. They have to be the exact same. So when we look at this first problem here, we have two matrices. The first one is a 2 by 2. The second one is a 2 by 2, 2 rows, 2 columns. So since the dimensions are the exact same, it means we can add these matrices together. And we're going to add the corresponding elements. So top left is 2. Top left is 1. So we're going to add 2 and 1. Those are corresponding elements. Next one we have is -1 and 2. Our next element is 3 and 4, so we'll have 3 plus 4. And our last one is 0 and -2. So the elements, the numbers that are in the same spot are going to be corresponding, and we add those together because there's a plus sign in the middle. Questions on this so far? Now we just need to simplify. 2 plus 1 is 3. -1 plus 2, 1. 3 plus 4 is, and 0 plus -2 is. That's it. That's it. No, I just wrote a step in the middle just so that we can see how they connect to each other. Now, if you don't need that middle step, that's fine. Questions on this here? We good with this one? We ready for the next one? Our first matrix is a 3 by 2. The second matrix is a 3 by. Can we subtract these? So I'm going to write it out first because we would have 2 minus -1. -3 minus 2. Yeah, we could. 5 minus 7. 4 minus 8. -2 minus -5. And 8 minus 6. And I believe the question is, why can't we just go straight to actually doing the subtraction? There's nothing. So if you feel comfortable going straight to 2 minus -1, which is the same as 2 plus 1, which gives us 3. That's fine. Negative 3 minus 2 is negative 5. I'm going to move that down. And then 5 minus 7 is negative 2. 4 minus 8 is negative 4. Put a little more room. And lastly, 2 minus negative 5 is 3, and 8 minus 6 is. So if you don't need that middle step, you don't have to write it. Nope, because they're individual elements, they're their own separate numbers.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, they're their own individual element. Questions on this here? So, we ready for the next one? So let's try the next one without writing that in-between step. So negative 8 plus 6 would be negative 2. 1 plus negative 1. 0. 3 plus we can't, no, because the dimensions of the first one is a 2 by 3. The second one is a 2 by. They have to have the same dimensions. If they don't, this is undefined. We cannot add or subtract if the dimensions aren't the same. If the dimensions are not the same, it is undefined. We cannot do it. Because there is nothing to add or subtract with that 3. We just say undefined. We tried undefined, we're done. Because that 3 that we were trying to add something to, there's nothing to add to it. If we put a 0 or try to put something in that second matrix, we are changing the matrix itself. We're adding elements to it. Not the same thing. So if we added these two here, negative 1 plus 6 would be 5. 7 plus negative 4. 3. 5 plus negative 8. Negative 3. 3 plus 2. That's it. Questions on this here? Now, question I normally get is, can we do this in the graphing calculator? Yes. Now, the first thing we would do, second matrix over to edit, because we got to put the first matrix E in. So we'll call this one A. It is a 2 by 2. We have negative 1, 7, 5, 3. Once we get it typed in, we're going to go second quit. Second matrix over to edit. Because this time we have two different matrices. Unlike when we solved the system where we only had one, we're going to go back to edit, go down 1. We'll go to matrix EB, which is also a 2 by 2. It is 6, negative 4, negative 8, 2. Second quit. Now what we're wanting to do is add the two together, yes? So we need to recall our first matrix, so matrix A. So second matrix, we can hit enter, recalls A. And we're adding to it second matrix, not over one, down one, B. Did that give us the exact same thing we got? Yeah. Especially with just straight addition, subtraction, it's almost easier to just do it by hand than it is to type it in. It'll take us longer to type it in than just to add or subtract the corresponding elements. Questions on addition or subtraction? Because if we looked at this one here, 2 minus negative 3, the negative and negative would make a positive, telling us 2 plus 3, which is 5. 5 minus 0. How about this one here? Undefined, because the first one is a 2 by 1, 2 rows, 1 column. The second is a 1 by 2, 1 column, 1 row, 2 columns. Undefined, they're not the same. Questions on this here? Okay. Yeah, this one. Very, very low.
Yeah, survival after.
Yeah. Let's look at the next piece, scalar multiplication. When multiplying or working with matrices, a real number is often called a scalar. We can multiply a matrix by a scalar. And to do that, we multiply every element in the matrix by said scalar. So, if we look at this first example, the scalar for this problem is what? 2, which means we're going to multiply every element, every number in this matrix by 2. So I'll have 2 times 3, 2 times negative 2, 2 times 1, 2 times 5, 2 times 2, and 2 times 0. All we're going to do is multiply everything by 2. If it was, say, negative 2 in front of it, we'd multiply everything by negative 2. 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times negative 2 is negative 4. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 5 is 10. 2 times 2. And lastly, 2 times 0 is 18. Zero. That's it. Questions on scalars? I think we don't need to see another example of scalar. Last thing we're going to do is we're going to do both of these here.
You just do that one first and then.
If there's scalars, we multiply the scalar first and then add or subtract. So here, we would want to multiply that scalar of negative 3 with our first matrix. So in this first matrix, the matrix the negative 3 is in front of, we want to multiply everything in that matrix by negative 3. So since we had negative 3 times that matrix, we would multiply everything in that first matrix by negative 3. Now negative 3 times 5 is going to be negative 15. Negative 3 times 0 is 0. Negative 3 times negative 2 would be, and negative 3 times 4 is. Questions on this so far? Questions? Now we need to add the two. So we'd have negative 15 plus negative 1. 0 plus 7. 6 plus 3. And negative 12 plus 2. Negative 15 plus negative 1 is negative 16. 0 plus 7. 7. 6 plus 3. Negative 12 plus 2. Questions on this here? Now, I would say yes. At this point, when we start getting multiple scalars with multiple matrices being added or subtracted, the calculator is starting to become a little bit quicker at it because we can just type it in as A and B. Yeah, it does take a bit to get used to that. Yeah. Questions on this here? And just so you know, these are possible answers or questions on the ACT. They do ask questions about matrices. The graphing calculator, yeah. Yeah, they are allowed on the ACT. Those graphing calculators and the yellow ones are too. You can have both the 30XS and the graphing calculator, but you can only have one on your desk at a time. So the other one just goes on the floor. Yeah, but you can. So it is good to have both of the calculators because there are some things that the graphing calculator can do that the 30XS can also do. So the 30XS, this one here, if I want to type a fraction, we do what? Graphing calculator, to get a fraction, it is alpha y equals enter. Yeah, alpha y equals enter. It takes 3, and if we have a fraction in a fraction, it means on the top we've got to go here.
Oh, it hurts.
So here, there are some things that the 30XS can type in, you can type in faster and easier than the graphing calculator. So they both have their perks. Questions on this here? Now, if you want, I can show you this here. If we wanted to do this in the calculator, we would define one of these as A and one of them as B. So to type it in, we're going to go second matrix over to edit and plug it in. Now this is still a 2 by 2, 5, 0, negative 2, 4. Second quit, second matrix over to edit down to B, 2 by 2, negative 1, 7, 3, 2. So focus in just for a little bit longer. Let's focus in. So we had negative 3 times that first matrix. So the first thing we're going to type is negative 3. Second matrix, A. So this is saying we're taking negative 3 times that first matrix. And then we added to it second matrix B. The exact same thing we got, yes? And that's it. I mean, the calculator does the same thing. Any questions on this here? Do we need to see another example of one of these here? We feel good with these here? All right. That's it. 4 through 8, 9 through 21 odd. So 4 through 8, 4, 5, and 6 perform the indicated operation. So you're adding or subtracting those. 7 and 8 is describe and correct the error. So they did something wrong, say what it is, and then fix it. Say what the actual correct answer is. 9 through 15 odd, so 9, 11, 13, and 15. Again, yes. So 9 through 15 is just perform the operation. So 9, 11, 13, 15 is that. Now 17, 19, and 21. So 17 says A plus B. So if you notice above 17, A, B, and C are defined there. You're just using those in place of A, B, C. Now those, if you want, it is possible to do those in the graphing calculator. Define A as A, B as B, C as C, and then just recall it as A plus B, 2B minus C, A plus B plus 10C. Especially if they're using the same matrices across multiple problems, it makes it quicker. But that is it for 1-7. Also, that is it for chapter 1. We are finished with chapter 1. Tomorrow is a makeup day. You will have the entire class period to work on your missing assignments. I will have a missing assignment sheet, which will have the assignments that I have not received yet, because everything will be graded by that point. I will hand back I'll actually hand back assignments today too, but you have the entire class period to work on it. Friday is a review day. I will give you the review sheet. You have the entire class period to work on it. Preferably, if you can answer each of the question types on that entire review sheet without looking at your notes, asking a neighbor, looking anything up, that is preferred because that means you are ready for the test. But if you do have questions or need help, ask. I'll come around and try to answer as many as I can. Monday, when we come back, we will go over the review sheet. We'll go through it, go over it, make sure, answer any questions that we have. Tuesday of next week will be the first part of the test. Wednesday will be the second part. I've cut the test in half. It is one test. I've just cut it in 2 parts. Part 1 will be Tuesday. Part 2 will be Wednesday. You have the entire class period to work on it those days, but once the bell is up, we are done with that part. Make sense? If you get in here before the bell and want to start, that is more than fine. Okay? So Tuesday is part 1, Wednesday is part 2. Thursday, the last day we'll actually cover anything in here, is going to be probably starting 2-1. We're going to move on to the next chapter. Friday is homecoming. Not doing anything on a week from Friday, because that ain't going to happen. But, because a week from Friday is homecoming. But, that is it.